Hope you're having a great day today. All right, today is our Less Stuff, More Life challenge part of the week. And this is the part of the week that I'm giving you something that you can choose to do or you can choose not to do. Now, these are not things that I think that you have to do to be successful in life or that you must do to achieve the perfect happiness or that I do completely in my own life. There are some things that we picked and shows. What I did is I wrote, let me show you how this all came about because I'll get the message, the comments that, hey, ooh, I'll get the comments of hate later on, but what I did before I was a vlogger, I was a blogger, and I wrote a couple different pieces every single day each week. It was to encourage people to do 52 different changes, and it was all about just making more of a simplistic lifestyle. And it wasn't like crazy zero waste families or any of that stuff, but just making more choices to make more of a simplicity in their life so they can enjoy more of their life. And it was just little things, and so I had to come up with 52. So I had to like think and think and think. And so some was, you know, no TV, some was cleaned up a counter, some was exercising, all these things that we can do just to help simplify our lives a little bit better. So that's all it is. And it wasn't like you have to. It's just things you can think, okay, maybe I want to do that, or maybe I won't. And some people said, yep, I'm doing this once a week, or all these things. It's just a different challenge, something different for me. Filming instead of a whole day in life, because you get a whole lot of those. It just gives you something different. It's from my book, Less Stuff, More Life. You can get this for free. I have a link below in the video and you can go download it. Don't buy it, it's free. Download the PDF and you can follow along with this. We're on week 19 already. 19 weeks, we've been through this for a long, long time. And so this one, I know I'll get this and people are like, no, you're not. You don't do this in your family, but it's to live paper and plastic free. Whew. Yep, difficult. I'm right there with you. So I'm not telling you you can't do these things or you have to or we're not going to be able to do all these things. I'm telling you, giving you some tips that you can help cut back. Do I do this perfectly? No. Do I do anything perfectly? I'll like share how not to yell at your kids, but guess what? I still yell at my kids. I try not to, but I'm learning. It's all about learning and growing, right? That's the key with every single thing. All right, so this challenge came about because I was watching a video with my kids and it was called, it was a documentary. This was back, again, these were back when they didn't have all the documentaries that they do now. Like you can go to Google and you can find out about how much plastic is waste and what they do with it and how recyclables really work. Things that, like I didn't have any idea about when I wrote this book, which was many, many, many years ago, not this whole new age of how, like I see people that do zero waste families and I'm like, oh my goodness, zero waste. They literally had like a jar and that was all their trash. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like I would have never heard anything like that in my entire existence of life. Like I lived and grew up, we bought disposables. We bought disposable diapers. We went to the store and we would get disposable drinks. We would go to McDonald's and get cups that were disposable. We would people buy the little disposable coffee cups. It just disposable, buying tiny little packages of things. We just did that because that's what we grew up doing. And so then now YouTube's got a whole world of like, look what people do. It's kind of cool because you can see a whole thing around the world of how people do things differently. Like I would have never thought in my entire life that people would just have like no trash. And I'm like, that's crazy because I know how much we use at our family and I'm like, wow, to use less would be way more better. Yes, I totally get that. I know there's times where I'm thinking, okay, it's better to, and sometimes that might mean buying the 50-pound bag of flour versus the individual, you know, 10 pounds in a bag of flour? I think it's 10 pounds, right? 10 pounds in a small bag of flour. Whatever the option may be, but sometimes those things aren't just feasible. Like it would be awesome to be able to take my own containers and go fill up things at our local co-op, and that might be good for people that do that, and I think that's awesome. But sometimes you can't. Like I know for our family, can you imagine me taking big giant containers? I mean, I can't say no because the more you train yourself to do things, and you have to might have to take a bunch of loads of containers in your cart to go and hey, let me go fill this up. So probably can be done, yes. Just saying, there's just different ways of doing things, which is awesome. And I know for myself, when we lived in our old state, there was an abundance of large product items. Like it was easy for me to get humongous containers of food and big giant bags of flour and rice and beans and all those things, and I was able to do that, and that was awesome. And then I can store them. That was the key. I could store them there because we had a basement and it kept it nice and cool in there. Okay, so then we moved to North Carolina. There are none of those stores here. So if I have it shipped, I'm paying 2 or 3 times the amount of that. Plus the trucks are using the gas to get it here, right? So you like, what do you do? What do you outweigh those things? And then when you do find it, you're like, oh my goodness, that's awesome that I found this at that thing, but then you can't find it again. Or I got a lot of that stuff and then I had to store it here. Well, it's a whole lot more humid here in North Carolina than it is in Michigan. and I was having some of my stuff go bad, or there's different kind of bugs. And so all those things, just not every situation is ideal, and I get that. So I'm not coming on here to tell you you are gonna be bad if you're buying single-use things. No, it's just whatever you can do in your own life, and maybe that's buying something and reusing a million times, you know, and doing it. I know I love my plastic containers. My plastic containers, those deli ones, that has prevented me from having to get a whole lot of plastic bags. Do I still use plastic bags? Yes, I still buy plastic bags. So, but washing them out, hanging them up in my pantry, I have them with a clothespin, those to me work great. Someone had given me the reusable bags that were made from, I don't even know what they're made from, they're more rubbery. I found that I don't like those. They like do not clean out. They clean out, but if you don't get in the little gap, the slider gap part, they like get moldy really quick. You gotta like get right inside there and dry every little thing perfectly. And even if you hang them up, they just don't dry out as good as just reusing the bag and hanging up and using it. A lot of things like that. I know, it's like a whole big, like, what do you do? Do you just use glass? That's awesome, use glass, but glass breaks, glass drops. You know what I mean? You just gotta pick what you can do. For ourselves, we like those deli containers. They're plastic, and I'll reuse those. I've been using those, and I buy those maybe once years. It takes years to go through those. Someone bought more for me, which was awesome, but there's bugs here. We came here from Michigan, I had them, and we used them for many years because they're awesome, and we can rinse them out and use them. They only dry, if you drop them, they crack with the frozen food in them, but those work really good for us for using those kind of things. You can drink, the other ways to cut back are, what are some ways? Water, bottled water. I like bottled water. I like flavored bottled water, but is it better to go get a cup of water and refill it? Absolutely. That's way better to do that, right? And just keep filling it up with your favorite flavors and adding the flavor to it. Does that mean never to buy bottled water again? Sometimes you can't. Right now during this whole crazy pandemic, I know when our power was out, we had no water. Guess what we had to do? We had to buy bottled water because there is no water. So you are just making different choices in your family, right? Some other ways you can do is buy things used instead of so much buying them all brand new. And we'll do huge on that. Like I love Goodwill. That is my #1 choice of stores, is Goodwill shopping, and going and looking to reuse things like that. And we'll go there and we'll pick up containers. Like I'll find plastic containers at Goodwill, and I'm like, those are the greatest, and I reuse them. Bring them home and wash them out and reuse them in my own home. Those are all good ways you can do it too, to help cut down on having to buy new ones. Is it wrong to buy new ones? No, I bought new ones as well. But we do go and look and do pick up other things from the stores like that. You can also bring your own grocery bags. People say that all the time when we go shopping, take your own grocery bags. That's great to do. We have a lot of those cloth ones that we'll take to different stores, or like when we go to Aldi, we just don't get any bags. We just pack it on the car and we come home and put it in baskets and bring it in. That's a good way to do that too. You can do those kind of things, or just taking it and just filling it up with your own. Those are all good things you can do to carry groceries home. We'll reuse a lot of our plastic. We reuse a lot in our business, packing, things like that. And so, because we have to pack things in plastic, so a lot of our plastic gets recycled in our home because we do use a lot of that way. But you can take it to your recycling bin. But if you watch videos on recycling, you see that not a lot of it gets recycled. It's like a whole win-win-lose situation. So what do you do? What do you do as a consumer? I don't even know. You can go extreme this way, you can go extreme this way. Being somewhere in the middle, I don't know. Wherever you want to be in life. Just things to do. I know for a long time we couldn't afford a lot of things, so guess what? When I did give myself a break, I bought the styrofoam paper plates, and that was so great because it was cheap, and to buy the paper was more expensive. And so for me, I bought that, and it was like, okay, so now that we got a little bit more money, I'm like, okay, I'll buy a big giant plate of paper plates, and that works good for our family. Go into this, go get coffee. You can bring your own your cup to fill up. You can't do that right now during everything going on crazy, so you have to use their cups of coffee. But I think I watched that video once, and they said for people to buy a disposable cup that you have for maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then just throw it away. And I'm like, ooh, that's so true. I'm like, how many times do you go get a drink at a slushie or a coffee or whatever, and then we do just throw it away? And I'm like, oh, isn't that crazy? All the fast food places, all those things that we are so equipped in our society with, but we do them, right? Just makes you aware of things. It makes you think about things a little bit different. Do the alternatives work? I don't know. We had straws. I know we went to a restaurant one time and they had paper straws, and I was like, ooh. And we started drinking out of the straws. Well, then they just totally disintegrated and you couldn't even drink your drink with the straw anymore. And I'm like, that was quite interesting. So it's got to be a whole, like, our society just have to transform the way we do things, right? And that's cool that they have videos where people show you different tips to cut back and different ways you cut down, or even different food, how people go shopping, they take food and just fill up their containers. I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever. For myself, I like to buy in bulk. That to me is the best way, because I'd rather go buy a big giant container of something and then instead of a bunch of smaller ones. It benefits my family. If I divide it up among the amount of people that we have in our home, I think it's way less than the average person. Is it the perfect way? No, but it's still a little bit less. So this week's challenge is going to be a little bit difficult for probably a lot of you. I know it would be for me. If I were to say go no, I think it says no plastic. Go plastic free this week. Is that what it says? To live paper and plastic free. Paper and plastic free. Whew. That would be difficult. I mean, probably not so much when you're at home. I was just thinking through our day today. Did we do anything paper and plastic? We didn't. I mean, we're home all day right now, so we're not using a lot of paper plates or plastic plates because we're just washing dishes. If you look through my trash, you would find trash from food. That's what you would find. But we aren't going out and getting drinks and things like that, so I guess that helps that way. We haven't bought water, but the last water bottles we used were when we had no power. I still haven't replenished those yet, so that way. But we will have plastic from our refrigerator from things that we have used up. Yeah, that's in there. That would be in my trash plastic. We just had a juice container today and it ended up in the trash. You're right, so there is a lot of plastic in that trash. I had to think about that, but could you imagine, could you try to go paper and plastic? Whew, that's crazy. That would be, I think this, do I even post this video? Because I feel like that would be a hard thing to do. I'm gonna post, that's okay. I'll probably get hate. Maybe I'll get love, I don't know. It's okay. It goes along with our series and we're following along with it. I'm like, okay. It's just rethinking the way you do things. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. I mean, sometimes it's feasible, sometimes it's not. If you see somebody that does do no paper and plastic and they'll say it's super easy, that's great. And then that person probably doesn't have 8 kids, 10 kids, and they probably wouldn't be able to do it. Maybe it's just them themselves, or maybe it'll be cool if they do that and then they have a family and they continue onward with that. Whew, I think that'd be great. Like, I know ourselves, we use disposable diapers forever and ever. Then I finally started doing cloth diapers, and I did that for many, 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 many years with my kids. And I'm like, that was the greatest thing ever. But it was just getting into that habit of using them all the time. Dishes, I never bought paper plates or plastic plates ever. We wash our dishes by hand every single meal. Again, I had the time to do that. I was at home all the time. It was just part of our routine. We did it. Now, keeping up with dishes by hand would be crazy and hard, and that means I have less time to do other things. So it's one of those things that, can you do it? I don't know, but I know every time we go out, we grab our water bottle, we fill it up with water, and we'll take it out. If I want a coffee, I'll take coffee from home and go out and try to do that instead of buying a coffee out. We still do buy a coffee out. I just did for Greg's birthday, but we most of the time try to take things and go with us. You know, even we'll take and wrap up snacks and take them to go out when we go to the parks, things like that, instead of buying things. So it's just making different decisions. That would be a super hard. Napkins, instead of buying paper napkins, we bought cloth ones. We've got all those cloth napkins. For years, I did a long, long time ago, and then we didn't for years, and I was buying paper. I'm like, why am I doing that? Just buy some cloth. So we bought cloth napkins. Hello, we rewash them. They have great ones, and they've lasted so much, and they look really, really nice. And so it's just making that conscious decision to try to, like, okay, how can I do less with that? Do we do completely 100%? No. But how do we do it with making some decisions to do that? I don't know, maybe that's a challenge for you. I think that'd be awesome, right? Could we do it? I don't think our society would allow us to be completely 100% at all. I really don't. I mean, in a normal, I don't think it would happen. I say that, and now people that come on and be like, no, this person does. And that's awesome. That's a great thing. And buying less packaged stuff, that'd be great. For myself, my family, we would spend, and it comes down to money. Ability to do that. Like, I know for us, we can't buy so much in bulk here, and groceries are a lot more expensive, so I'll hit my discount store and I might get more snack size stuff, but then I can feed my kids. So then it's like, what do? You feed your kids? You have snacks? What do you know? I don't know. This is gonna be one of those videos where I'm like, it's more of a rambling Amy video, and then I'm like, what do you do? Suggestions? How about you put in the comment section below things that you will consciously try to be aware of when cutting back on paper and plastic. Can you do that? Let's try that. Okay, mine would be taking drinks every time we go out. Another one would be buying, I said paper and plastic free, so I don't want to say buying paper plates because we're doing away with that. How about back in the day doing cloth diapers instead of regular diapers? Those are some tips. What about you guys? Some ways, you know, instead of getting out, what are some things that you do to help cut down on the amount in your life? What do you do? Is there anything you do? Share those in the comment section below. So this week will be one of those things that'll be like, Amy, I've seen your grocery shopping hauls. I saw your plastic bags. Oh yeah, you do. I'm not making excuses. We use plastic. We'll do it. We'll try to reuse them. We use them for more trash things. We'll use them at the shop. We do those kind of things. Not a perfect person, not a perfect anything, but it's part of the challenge and less stuff in life. Next week will be a whole lot different. So I don't know, put some things down below. Give me some ideas. Paper napkins, right? Instead of paper napkins, I use cloth. Give me some ideas of things that you have changed to help kind of cut back on. Is there any other ways? Let's give some K-cups. K-cups, you can buy the reusable K-cup container. That's another way, right, that you can do that instead of buying the small ones, because those are convenience, and that's an awesome thing. I don't know, share them some things below. So, all right, this video is going to be one of those like, Amy, what? I don't even know. So, but hey, it's part of Less Stuff More Life. We're just coming and giving you some ideas of things that you can do to help cut back on some things in your life. And one of them, paper and plastic. Being less reliant on things of this world. Whew, I think we all need to be a little bit more of that, right? All right, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'm going to see you again tomorrow for another day in the life. All right, I might even use paper and plastic in there. Okay, we'll see ya. Bye.